Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
The WNBA once again has drawn attention from the US government. We talked about earlier in the year where they're talking about the possibility of a investigation from the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice with regard to how the WNBA has handled Caitlin Clark. And now we've got the US government sniffing around what has been going on with the potential sale of the Connecticut Sun. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate all of your support. I really, truly do. I actually mean it when I say that. I know I rattle it off quickly, but without all of you, this channel doesn't exist. The absolute easiest way you can help this channel stick around, maybe even grow a little, is simply smash the like button. Right? If you've been here a while and you've enjoyed some of the videos and you haven't subscribed yet, consider giving it a subscribe. And of course, we do, for those who've been around a while and really love it, there is the members section as well, which I never even talk about, but it is there. But anyway, let's dig into this Connecticut Sun stuff. As you know, we talked about this a little while back where there was an offer. It looked like the Connecticut Sun were going to relocate to Boston. There was a good offer for Boston. And then it turns out there were some shenanigans going on with the WNBA. Surprise, surprise. Yes, there were. Anyone ever seen Smokey and the Bandit? Sally Fields is absolutely adorable in that. But anyway, I just saw it again last night, first time in, oh my God, I don't even 10, 15 years. Anyway, where was I? So yes, and then it looked like there were some shenanigans with Kathy Engelbert. She sat on the offer because there is a time frame in terms of a vote on it. The WNBA has to approve these types of things, and she sat on it for a long time. And it turns out that the league really kind of prefers that if the Connecticut Sun are moving, they are moving to Houston. Well, guess what, folks? That has brought the attention of the senators of Connecticut. I almost said Yukon because that's what it is, right? We got the Yukon Mafia running things, which makes a mess out of everything. But as you can say, they've ripped the WNBA over the handling of the Sun sale. One criticized the league's attempt to block proposals to keep the team in the Northeast and even said future interference from the league could be an antitrust violation. Now it's going to get really interesting as we dig into this a little further. There may not be any heroes in this one, folks, just villains. Now, about this antitrust thing, I want to go over quickly. Now, I don't know what it is with the WNBA. I haven't really looked into that in detail, but I believe all of the sports leagues have some sort of carve out in terms of antitrust laws in the US. Because I know the NFL does, I know the NBA does. They get special treatment because it is a little different, right? The league is an entity. The franchises are not there to put each other out of business. And while teams, especially now in the era of streaming and getting packages like MLB TV and NFL Network and all of that, you have fans all over everywhere that can actually follow their teams, but they are also geographically based. Philly fans in Philly are, they're Philly fans, Dallas, Indiana with the, well, okay, people travel for Caitlin Clark, but you get the point that I am making. The 76ers are not trying to put the Celtics out of business and vice versa. It is not Home Depot versus Lowe's or Walmart versus Target or any of that. You don't want these franchises to go out of business to where the point the league ends up with one or two teams left. So there are carve outs that the leagues need in a in order to avoid those issues. But that, of course, is not the type of violation we're talking about, which we're going to get into here in a minute. But as you can see, the Senators ripped the WNBA handling of the Sun sale. WNBA's handling of the Connecticut Sun sale process has attracted high-level political attention. Both of the state's U.S. senators have recently weighed in to express their displeasure with the league and pushed to keep the team in the state. Now, that last part is the key, understand. This is not about, oh, it was a great offer from Boston to the tribe that owns the Sun, and we don't understand why Kathy did what she did and blocked that. That's in the best interest of the current Connecticut Sun ownership. No, no, no. If only it were that easy. The Sun moved from Florida to Uncasville in 2003. They've made four WNBA finals. The Mohegan Tribe is who owns the Sun. And I get it, man. They want to cash in now, right? Like, hey, let's get rid of this franchise and let's make some money. Now, on Monday, Senator Richard Blumenthal wrote a letter addressed to WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert that criticized the league's attempt to block proposals to keep the team in the Northeast and strong arm the tribe into selling the team back to the league for a lower offer. Now, it's interesting, again, it keeps saying the Northeast, which would, that kind of takes away from what he's really getting at and makes a lot of people think Boston because that's what we know about. But no, no, no. Do you understand? The state of Connecticut made a bid for a minority stake. And this would see the team bizarrely, and I think this is stupid as well, split its current home in Uncasville and the state capital of Hartford, which has a larger arena, although I don't know why they would need a larger arena. But and then here's we have Blumenthal's statement I want to read, and then I want to get into this Connecticut ownership thing. Any further attempts by the WNBA to use its considerable governance and market power over the Connecticut Sun to limit or dictate negotiations with the state of Connecticut could be an unreasonable restraint of trade and interference with the market that would violate federal antitrust laws. It's kind of wild that you've got somebody like Blumenthal pretending to promote free market, but that's a whole nother issue. So let's take a look at that. Now, again, like with the NFL, like with the NBA, and now it's a rubber stamp, okay? But they do have to approve sales and relocations and all of that because again, they need to do what is in the best interest of the league. And so, maybe there are certain situations where they don't want teams to go certain places or whatever. There could be a whole host of reasons, but it usually is a rubber stamp. And a lot of people thought this offer from Boston would be rubber stamp. It is, it's a good ownership group. It was a good amount of money. And of course, I'm going brain dead on the amount right now. And it would relocate to Boston, a great sports market, a great basketball market. And the WNBA said, nah. Why did they say nah? Again, not, I don't believe, for the best interest, but they did it more for selfish. It seems like they want to buy the team and move it to Houston. So that is not a good look. However, again, the Senators of Connecticut aren't doing this. They weren't doing this for that great Boston offer. They were doing it for this reason. If I can scroll back up, the state of Connecticut submits bid for minority ownership of Sun. The proposal would have Connecticut Sun home games split between Hartford and the team's current home in Uncasville. This is so bizarre to me. Now, here you can see, according to the ESPN report, kind of like I was just talking about, the state's bid would value the team higher than the $250 million that the WNBA has proposed. The league's preferred market for the franchise is believed to be Houston. Now, again, if the league prefers Houston, that to me is not a legitimate reason to block a legitimate sale that looks good to go to Boston. Okay, so the league is absolutely wrong to be doing that. On the other hand, the state of Connecticut getting involved in this way, they're making a bid for part ownership, and then you get the senators from the state to put pressure on the WNBA. What's what's the mob line? Nice looking business you got there. Hate to see anything happen to it. Right? Does that sound familiar? That's kind of what we have going on here. This is a little bit of thuggery, folks. This is, hey, you know what? Sell it to us or something bad could happen. That is not a good look for the state of Connecticut. Also, the idea of splitting time between two places is bizarre. And yeah, they could make a higher bid. Why could they make a higher bid? Because it's not their money. It's hella easy to spend other people's money. It really truly is. I think we all know that. And that is what they would be doing because they're spending the money of the hardworking people of Connecticut. They're not spending their money. They didn't earn the money, so they can make a higher bid. And then what happens when they do own it? And then you get into let's see everything goes great for the league. And I don't know, 5, 6 years from now, Caitlin Clark's just hitting her prime. She goes out into unrestricted free agency. The salary caps have, you know, 10x the millions of people are tuning into non-fever games. Connecticut Sun are like, we want to get Caitlin Clark. She's the missing piece. They're at a situation where they've got a good team. They just need that missing piece to push them over the edge for a championship. Who's again? What if the people of Connecticut don't want their money spent in that way? Like, it gets a little with that. So anyway, what I'm saying here, for me personally, there are no heroes here, folks. Nothing but villains. We've got villains on the WNBA side for the way they've handled this and blocking the sale to Boston. We've got villains on the Connecticut side by the state trying to get involved with ownership, and then the senators trying to what is, basically kind of a threat to the league. Hey, nice team you got there. Nice league you got there. It'd be a shame if anything were to happen to it. Anyway, kind of wild. It's going to be interesting to see what happens going forward. But do me a favor, smash that like button. I do appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel. Go have the day you deserve. I will talk to you later.